Hello chaps, Lakey Bloke here. Welcome to another Homebrew Wednesday video. Yeah, it's that time of the week again. Now before I kick into any brews this week, what I want to do is give you a quick update on some previous videos. 2 or 3 videos ago, in other words 2 or 3 or maybe 4 weeks ago, you may remember we did some hop cider, and here's a bottle. Look how clear that is. There's still a little bit of mist in there. I've just essentially bottled. I must stop saying essentially. I say that quite a bit, so I do apologise. I'll try and replace it with other words like basically, or don't know really. I'll think of something. But yeah, there you go. Look at that, crystal clear. Now, my only concern with this particular bottle, or these bottles rather, because I've got quite a few over here. I've managed to get 9 500 milliliter PET bottles. My only concern is it's a little bit too clear, because I did use some fining, so it's as clear as it is because of the fining agent. I've bottled it. I've put some priming sugar in. Now what I don't know, and you chaps out there in homebrew land may be able to clarify this one for me, is whether the brew will still carbonate after being fined. So once you've cleared it with some fining agent, can you still carbonate it, or does it kill all the yeasties off? I don't know. I'm not really sure on that one. But even if it doesn't kill the yeast off, we've got a good brew. But if it has, and you know, I don't get any fizz out of it, then I'm going to get a lovely sweet hopped cider, because there is a teaspoon of sugar in here alongside a teaspoon of stevia, you know, the artificial sweeteners you can get, just to take away some of the bite on that. But yeah, I like the look of that one. It looks like a sample, doesn't it? But it smells really good, and I'm going to give that a couple of weeks at room temperature. You know, here's another bottle just so you can see. There you go. I'm not having you on 2 bottles. I'm going to leave these at room temperature for a couple of weeks, and then I'll move them into the shed for cold storage, and they'll stay there until I decide I'm going to give them a little sample. And of course I will update you here on how that's going. Now the other thing that we did a couple of Homebrew Wednesdays ago was the kit lager, the Muntons kit lager. Now as it stands to date, it's sitting at 1012. I'm going to give it another day though and measure it again. So for a couple of days now it's been at 1012. I suspect it's finished, but we'll see if it goes down a little bit further. If it does, then you know, I'll leave it for another day and we'll keep checking until we've got probably 2 or 3 days worth of solid gravity readings, and then we're going to bottle that too. And it's pretty much the same as I did with all the other ciders. I'm going to bottle it with a teaspoon of sugar, makes the medicine go down, and probably, I don't know yet, a teaspoon of stevia. I'll see, I'll give it a little taste and then I'll make a judgment call on that one. If it's too bitter, I'll throw some stevia in there. But that's that. That's the past, folks. We must talk about the future. How are you, by the way? I haven't seen you since I saw you last. Is your mum alright? What about your dad? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, you know, he would cross the road like that, wouldn't he? What can he do? Wasn't even looking where he was going, was he? Right, that's that over with. Fancy the small talk, eh? Yeah, I don't. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, chaps. See you in a bit. Hey guys, this week we're going to be doing some brewing using a packet of these. Well, basically I'm just going to do one as an example. And what we've got in here are some, what look like normal bottle caps for 2 litre bottles, but they're not, they're special. They're Mack's home brewing caps, guys. And I have to thank CraigTube for his last video on these. He gave me the idea to give them a go. They look like normal bottle tops, but in fact they've got a little hole in the top there, guys, and inside there you can probably see there's a bit of plastic, a plastic disc in there, and inside that plastic disc there's a tiny little hole. And what will happen is when you put it on your bottle and you screw it up, it will let the air out, and it will also, when you put the sugar in, carbonate your brew at the same time. So essentially you're going to have a 2 litre bottle of cider or whatever juice you want to make that's carbonated already for you. You don't have to arse about with it later on and add more sugar. And it's you know, it's amazing. It's an amazing idea, and I'm going to give that a go. So let's give it a bash. We'll see how we get on. Hey guys, so as you can see here, it's a bit of a mess in the kitchen at the moment. I've got mixed berry juice drink, and I've got a carton of apple juice. I'm going to throw that into this bottle once I've finished sanitising it. There's a little funnel there. Once I've finished sanitising that, I'm going to chuck that in. I'm going to chuck that in. I'm going to chuck in some of these yeast pellets that are sent to you as part of this Mack's Homebrewing cap pack. You can buy it separately, or you can use normal yeast, it's up to you. And we'll chuck some of that in. We'll put one of these caps on the top of the brew, and we'll leave it at room temperature for probably 4 days. It's estimated as part of the Mack Homebrewing caps pack that, I don't know if you can see that on here, I'm not giving too much away, am I? Day 4 will give you around about 5 to 6% of alcohol. So then, when we want to drink it, once it's got to the desired amount of alcohol, we'll stick it in the fridge. And by then, in a couple of days, it'll be all fizzed up, and we can just pour it out and drink it. We haven't got to use any secondary fermentation vessel or bung it into separate bottles ourselves. We can just pour it from the bottle, drink it, and enjoy it. So as you can see there, guys, there's some sugar in there. There's 100 grams of sugar in there. That's what we need to carbonate our beer. I'm going to chuck in the apple juice next. Of course, you're correcting me already. I just said beer then, didn't I? Of course, we're not doing a beer. We're doing a fruit flavoured kind of cider mix. Here it goes into this bottle here. Guys, if this works, and I'm sure it will, this is going to be pretty clever, and I may well end up doing brews just like this from now on, because it means you have control over how sweet you like your ciders, and that's very difficult to do, you know, if you're just doing a normal demijohn. What you have to do is back sweeten with stevia and things. So here we go, the apple juice is there. I'm going to cover it up and give it a quick shake, and then I'm going to put the fruit juice in. There it is, there's the fruit juice in there with the sugar. That's the apple juice in there, sorry guys. Put it in the mixed berry now. We don't want to fill it all the way out to the top though. We need to leave a little bit of breathing space at the top of the bottle so that there's enough room in there for it to ferment. Otherwise it's going to explode and go everywhere. So just pour that in. I'm hoping this is going to be you know, a really good thing, guys. I'm quite excited about this. I have to be honest with you, this looks to me like it's going to be a great idea. That, let's put a little bit more in to there. That'll do. That's enough room, I think. All we need to do now then is put 1/8 of a teaspoon of the yeast pellets that come with the kit. And I don't know if you can see the yeast pellets here, they're circles. So that's quite interesting. We're going to put 1/8 of a teaspoon of that in. Arsenal, sorry about that guys. Oh dear, something went down the wrong hole. So yeah, we'll put 1/8 of a teaspoon of that in. We'll put the cap on and we'll leave it at room temperature. Easy as that. So guys, I have to be very careful with this. Don't know if you can see that there. There's the 1/8 of a teaspoonful of pellets. Now all I'm going to do is chuck those into there. Chonk, 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 chonk. That's that done. This spoon was sanitised, guys. The lid goes on. That's pretty much it. And there's our finished product, guys. As you can see, the lid is the correct one. I've not put a normal lid on that, otherwise we'd have explosions everywhere. And I'll keep an eye on it, but in the top of that lid there, you can't really see it here, there's a tiny little tin prick of a hole, and that will allow the brew to basically do its magic. Otherwise the bottle will explode. That's the theory behind this kit, and I'm really very excited about it, guys. This needs to be left at room temperature, as I've said earlier, for 4 days to get it around about 5%. Okay? So guys, yeah, spooky, eh? I'm just like a kind of floaty head kind of thing going on here. Don't really like, look at my hair, look, I look like I've just exploded or something. Apologies guys, apologies, what can I say, I'm a messy bugger. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. In case you do want to check out the, where are you? Oh, you're over there, hello. In case you do want to check out the home brewing caps, they're really worthwhile, I think, and hopefully we'll be able to get it. The trick to this is that we can get it exactly how sweet we want it. The longer you leave it at room temperature, the more of the sugar the yeast will eat up, and the stronger the brew will get. What we're doing is we're chucking it into the fridge as soon as it gets to the alcoholic percentage that we want. In this case, it's estimated 5 days, around 4 days at around 5%, and so that's how long I'm going to leave it. So today, the time of recording is last week's home brewing, Wednesday, chaps. I tend to do these a week ahead if I can. So I'm going to give this until Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm going to chuck it in the fridge for a couple of days. We'll open it up on Homebrew Tuesday, and I'll do a small video at the end of this, and we'll see how we get on. So see you then. Hey chaps and chapesses, there we go, look, there's our Pat Mack's brewery caps brew. As you can see, there's been fermentation in there. If I squeeze it really hard, it's completely solid. It's just like a normal Coke bottle would be. And on the top here, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. See the slit in the top there? That's where it lets all the CO2 out. Look at that. So this is 2 days in. It's pretty good. I'm impressed so far. It's going into the fridge tomorrow, and we'll leave it in there for a few days, and then what I'll do is I'll pour it into separate 500ml PET bottles, and we'll give it a go from there. Hello, me again. Now remember, we were talking about Pat Mack's brewing caps, and we did a bottle and we left it for 3 or 4 days, and then we stuck it in the fridge. What do we have here, folks? We have a carbonated drink, quite well carbonated in fact. Don't know if you can see the bubbles and the fizzes on there, it's quite nice. That's really good, guys. My only criticism would be, and it's not surprising, as you lift it to your mouth you can smell the yeast still. However, the good thing about this is that the brew has stayed really, really sweet, and it's perfect. It's really, really good. I'm going to have another sip, in fact, folks. Just as you reach it to your mouth, if you've got a big nose like me, big old shonk, look at that. If you've got a big nose, you can smell the yeast. Not sure what you can do about that, probably nothing, because after all it's still fermenting, or it would be if it wasn't in a fridge. It would be fermenting out dry, but the good thing about it is that the control of how sweet or how dry you want it is really up to you, because it depends on how long you leave it before you put it in the fridge, of course. And the instructions that come with the brewing caps are really quite good, and they give you ideas onto how long to leave it fermenting before you stick it in the fridge. It's not clear, but that's because the juice wasn't that clear in the first place, so I wasn't expecting any miracles there, or for the juice to, you know, be really clear and see-through. And it doesn't really matter, I don't care about that. For me, it's all about the taste. And I have to say, folks, it tastes great. This is a mixed fruit drink, turbo cider, so I basically put in a litre of normal apple juice, there it is, a litre of normal apple juice and a litre of mixed fruit juice. It's very good. On this basis, I would recommend it, guys. Give it a go. These things, caps only cost about a £5 or something, plus postage. So you're looking at £7 or £8, and you've got nothing to lose. So thumbs up for this. I've got another one on the go. It's just a normal bog standard cider, this one. It's going to just be apple juice in that. That one's just been put into the fridge because this one I've just taken out. Hopefully that one will taste... oh my goodness, sorry about that. Gives you an idea as to how fizzy this is, folks. I keep looking at it because I'm quite attracted to it, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the glass, it's in the shape of a woman, you see. I don't know. Yeah, give it a go, see what you think, and you know, as I say, it's a thumbs up from me in this instance. I'd like to, before I give it the complete Lakey Bloke thumbs up, I'd like to go through another few batches just to see how they turn out, whether the smell is the same, because the smell can be quite off-putting before you taste it. The smell is not in the taste, if that makes sense. You can smell the yeast, but you can't taste the yeast. You can taste the mixed fruit in that drink. You can't taste the yeast, but the smell kind of puts you off before you've even tasted it. So get beyond that if you can. And I'd like to see what happens in my next brew. See if I get the same sort of smell from the yeast. It's not a pleasant smell, but you know, it's not an unpleasant smell either. It's just yeast. It's not going to kill you. And of course there's still yeast is in there doing their thing. And as we all know, in brewing land, yeast is good for you. So it ain't going to kill you, folks. But yeah, a thumbs up from me. Very sweet. You can still taste the fruit in there. Oh my god, the fruit. It's perfect for it's exactly how I want it, in fact, because I like medium sweet ciders, or medium. This one is sorry about that, add a little itch in my eye. This one is a medium sweet. It's about 4%, and it's great. So give it a go. Have run a few batches by first before you know, base an opinion on it. After all, you know, this is the first one I've tried, and I might have just been lucky. So the second one I've got on the go. We'll see what happens with that and how sweet that comes out. That's just apple, so it should be a good one, that. And I'll let you know in the coming weeks with new brews and things. You know, I'll throw in a little quick update in there as to how that one's got on. Be careful when you put the caps on the bottles as well, though, chaps. I've noticed that some of the 2 litre bottles that, you know, have Coke in them or Pepsi or other fizzy drinks are available, folks. You can put the caps on, and they get a little bit wonky. So you have to be careful, and you follow the thread as they go on. You know, just watch out for that, because otherwise CO2 can escape, and you might get some nasties in there and things. And you just want to make sure that you screw it on properly. Other than that, always a pleasure, folks. Comments below, give us a thumbs up. Hope to see you soon. Ta-ta for now.